What's going on, guys? Look, it's Marcel Benson, investor, entrepreneur, and creative. Listen, if you tuned in, I want to say, look, this week is going to be a huge week in the market, okay? Like, I hope you had fun this weekend. I hope you got a chance to relax, but I hope that you made some time to study, right? If you're watching this video, you got another 15, 20 minutes to spare after this, go and do some research. Go and back test what I'm saying. Like, go confirm for yourself and make this a habit every week to just put a little bit of time in, right? A little bit of time in just push you further ahead. Not in comparison to anybody, right? You don't gotta even think like that, but it puts you further ahead than you were. It makes you that much closer to the desired reality that you have, right? This trading stuff, I know it can be daunting. I know it can seem like it's impossible. I'm talking to you. Right? I know it can seem like it's impossible because I've sat right where you sat before and I've lost and lost and lost and won and won and lost and won and lost. I'm just like, is the journey ever going to shift into the favor of majority of what I do being wins? Is it ever going to get to a time where I'm consistently profitable and I can start to help out people with the money that I'm making? I can start to like take care of my own life. Right? I could start to really reap the rewards of staying consistent. And yes, it is absolutely possible. It is absolutely possible, and it will happen if you consistently show up for yourself, win, lose, or nothing. Right? Win, lose, or nothing. Cash position, whatever. Any position you find yourself in the stock market, if you continue, you will see success. The only thing that comes before losing is quitting. Right? You have to quit to lose in this game because it's one man. Right? So you are in the driver's seat. You are in full control, and you just got to constantly make little tweaks. Right? Me and Zay show up to the group every day to make sure that y'all getting that nuance, those little small tweaks that you need to make to all the learning that you've done so that you can make sure that you're securing profits and maintaining your bag so that it compounds over time so that you can go and make more money each day. All right, went off on a tangent, but I wanted to let y'all know that if you're tuning in, I'm telling, it's such a big deal for me that you are successful, right? The reason that I did this was for that very reason, right? I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about the fame. I don't care about getting none of that. But if people that leave the Prosperity Collective can say that they really made money, they really profited, they really learned how to trade and was able to go and then show that to somebody else in their family, That's the win. That's the win. That's why we charge what we charge, so that y'all can get in here and have no excuse. All right. I got a great video for you. I know I went off on a tangent, but look, something just moved in me to say that to y'all. Listen, today I'm going over 3 stocks that could potentially double, triple your money this week, right? I said it last time. I said double, and then y'all know I messed up. I said 2x and then wind up 4 or 5x in your money, right? We have some similar setups this week that could do the same thing. I just want to make sure that you are locked in, okay? So pay attention in this video. Again, trust, right? But then you got to go and make sure that it's true. Verify. Go and do your research, right? I want you to get in the habit of doing that. This is going to give you that confidence that you need to keep showing up. And I'm telling you, once you get that momentum in the right direction, it feels so good that you're not going to want to stop. You're going to want to, in your spare time, go look at charts, go figure out like what the next thing is. And then you're going to find it just being a part of your daily life. And then when you look up, you're going to be like, damn, I've come a long way. All right. So look, we're going to get into the charts in just a second. Let me actually pull this up for you guys. But I'm going to go through 3 stocks that I think are going to, do some numbers this week. Okay. So first up, we have SPY, right? So y'all know SPY has been on my, my watch list, I think the past like 3 to 4 weeks, and for good reason. It's been doing literally everything that I've said, right? So if you guys remember, I made this rising wedge, which, by the way, go look it up. A rising wedge is a very strong reversal pattern to the downside. The same way that a falling wedge sends the stock up, a rising wedge sends the stock down. So we got the break out of the wedge, and then we got SPY to come all the way down here. We made it was like 3,000% in potential earnings from this point to this point in weekly, options, right? So we caught about 500% of that, 400 or 500% of that in one play. and throughout the week caught it a few times again. So there was just so much potential here just on that small down move. Now, if you see, SPY has to come down to these 3 places. So imagine what the gains are going to be like when it does that. I'm not saying that it's going to happen in 1 week or this week or next week, but we are making a pattern that is pretty much giving SPY like a look. You better make your decision on what we're getting ready to do. So with the falling wedge, oftentimes what happens is it'll give you a little something like it gave us, right? 3,000% worth. But then it reverses and then it goes back and it retests the wedge. So as you can see right here, this is like the top of the wedge is somewhere like around 645. I put up here like I put the line like around 650, right? The highs are 639, 640, right? So we could go up and retest the highs, and what may actually happen, this is because, a lot of people want to think about, oh, this is like a double top when they see it retesting the highs. What may happen is it may go beyond that to test the top of the wedge and then start to resist. Now, there's a couple of scenarios that can happen. Make sure you write this down. SPY could either break out and do like a short-term bull run for another 10%, right? Because we have these earnings from these big tech companies that are doing well and bringing SPY up, right? Or we could get some news from the Fed. We could get some news about interest rates. The same thing that happened in 2000, I believe it was 22, that caused a version of a bear market, right? So 2 scenarios: SPY breaks out, does a like a little 10% short-term run up, or it can start to slow down at that previous high around like 640 and then itch its way up to 650, find a reversal pattern, and then crash hard from there right into this first target around $602, right? So you imagine something going from 650 and then falling to go clean this gap up at like $600, a $50 drop, which is a significant earning potential, right? Like I said, I'm not saying that it's going to happen in a week. I'm not saying get weeklies, but when you're tuned into the group, if you're in the Prosperity Collective, right, the link is always in the description of all my videos. If you come and join the family, you'll be able to catch those 200, 300, 400, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000% plays from us swinging it because we've been talking about it and watching it, right? Not to mention, we also have 5 other bots in the group, which are like low-key 5 employees that we've paid thousands of dollars for, and we're giving to you for the price. I'm not even telling you what the price is for the trading, for Prosperity Collective, because I don't even want to say. It's too embarrassing to say on camera, right? But we are doing this for you so that you can get in and learn this stuff. But we've had several meetings and we realized we've been doing it for way too long. Like, we're taking our prices up, and those are still going to be lower than what everybody else is charging. So by the 15th, pretty much the end of this week, like, prices are probably going to triple for the group. So definitely get in there if you're seeing this. So SPY has the potential to come down there, right? So that's the scenario that I think is most likely. Again, I'm not going to be biased, right? Whatever presents itself is what I wind up taking, but I have a very strong feeling that we're going to get a little bit above highs, and then we're going to find this thing crashing down because of some sort of event that's going to take place in our economy. If you're out and you're having conversations with people and you're seeing what's really happening in the world, you're noticing that people are squeezed. Tourism is down. Traveling is down. There's a lot of things that are starting to show signs of a weak economy. So there's a very strong chance that we start to see some downside and maybe even a bear market. Now, that's a whole nother video. I'm actually going to be doing a video about the bear market and how you can prepare next. But for now, we'll just table it right there. All right. So that's SPY. All right. The next stock that I'm interested in this week is ARM. Okay. If I can find it. ARM is a chip company. All these robotics and machinery that they're creating, chips are going to thrive in the future. ARM is one of the leaders in this particular space, and the stock is still under $200. Now, they didn't perform the greatest during the earnings season this year, but they are still in a good position, still have solid financials, even though they just did not do as well as expected. So they created this looks like about a $10 gap to the downside, and it looks like it's finding a bottom right here in this demand zone. So we could see this try to make its way back up into the gap this week, which will be a huge opportunity, because if it starts filling it and then it breaks into the gap and starts to fill it, that's a $10 move. So I like this stock above about 142. Right? If I can see it break the level of 142, I'd be very interested in starting to look for calls. But again, if you want to get these exact plays, the exact times that we are entering as a group, make sure you click the link in the description to join the Prosperity Collective. Okay. ARM is a banger. If you look at the chart, it's kind of been staying in a particular range, but it's very strong on these levels. When it hits certain levels, it makes a pretty strong move. Now, gaps are like magnets. They pull the stock back into that direction, just like the 200 EMA, right? It's only so long that a stock is going to stay away from the gap without coming and making that correction, right? Always keep in mind that a stock always wants to correct itself. When you think about a gap, it's like a hole in a foundation. I call it Jenga. So if it's one, somebody take one piece out of Jenga can still stand for a little while. But the more holes during the game that are created in Jenga, the shakier the foundation gets, and the more likely that tall building or that high price stock is going to fall and fall hard. I know y'all played Jenga and the pieces just fell, completely collapsed on the table, and you was like, God, and it was on your turn. Right? Now, the beautiful thing about the market that's different than Jenga is we actually get to take advantage of that fall. When it falls in Jenga, you lose. In the market, when it falls, you can make as much money as long as you're on the right side of things, okay? All right, so that's ARM. The next, we got Google, right? Google has been on a tear, right? It's been moving these past couple of weeks, and it wants to come and retest the highs, as you can see here, at about 207, okay? So that's about a $6 move from where it is right now. Now, again, similar to SPY, there's two different scenarios that could take place. It could test highs and make a double top and fall hard. The last time it was at highs right here, the last time it tested at 207, it came all the way down to about 140 something. And this happened this year, right? So there is a chance that when it tests this supply level, that it can fall pretty hard. So we're not going to have a bias on this, but I will say, like, watch this, right? If it comes here and falls and, it makes a lower low, like, it could be on its way down. But if it does break, then again, like SPY, it could possibly go on like a 10% short-term bull run, right? It could run up for 10 more percent, and that's going to shift the stock market to greed or extreme greed, which we know is when you should start to get fearful and leery, right? So before we get there, I want you to start thinking, all right, the next run up may be the last run up before things fall. So keep that in mind. So Google, again, we're not showing any bias this week. We are just waiting in the cut to see what it does. And that key level that we're waiting for is 207. It's make or break. Is it going to break through or is it going to fall down? Okay. So that's the stocks that I got. I'm going to stop sharing right now. That's the stocks that I got. We got Google. We got ARM. We got SPY, right? All huge money-making potentials if you are positioned correctly. Again, don't go with this alone. Don't go at it alone. You trading by yourself, it kind of looks like this. This is what you trading without the Prosperity Collective looks like. But when you decide to lock in with a group, a family that's trading every single day and getting profits so consistently, it is a no-brainer. Like I said, between myself, between my bro and business partner, Zay, and the 5 bots / employees that we have, we are calling profitable plays from every angle of the market. We're not missing out on what is happening in a particular sector because we got it covered. We're not missing out on what's happening in tech and the earnings because we got it covered every front. This is why we have the lowest churn rate in the industry, because once people come in and see what the Prosperity Collective is like, they don't want to leave. Oh yeah, and when you lock in the price, you're grandfathered in. So you won't pay more than that for the whole time that you were in the Prosperity Collective. Again, I'm not going to say what it is on camera, But you click the link, you'll see. And you make the judgment based off the reviews and what people are saying and the results that I'm showing you guys on my Instagram and my social media all day long. The profits that we're getting in the profit section all day long that I'm showing you guys all day long. You make the decision if it's worth it. I'm pretty sure it will be. It's always love over here. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.